This is Dr. James VOND speaking, and it's Saturday, 13th of December 2025, and I've just attended my dental appointment, and they were very good actually. The Bandor one in Peugeot Road, and reassuring as well, and not excessively harsh in their treatment recommendations. So it wasn't really that painful today, obviously, so I didn't have that pain in teeth bothering me. But I've got the options there. Obviously, if I need to get further treatment for my teeth problems, anytime I could obviously book an appointment there. But it cost me £7 to attend there by taxi. Obviously, I don't have my own transport these days, so I have to rely on taxis and buses, etc. And it would have been a long walk if I went by a bus, because the nearest bus stop isn't that close to where I live, so I went for the taxi option. £7 today, and I spent £15.20 in total on the last occasion when I attended at the other practice. That's a different practice. They were kind of not very reassuring, rather alarmist in recommendations. The consultant there wasn't really reassuring, not as reassuring as the Peugeot Road one, the Bandor dentist. Obviously, they've got more experience, probably more expertise and better resources maybe in their practice. Anyway, yesterday's video I was talking about, it's not much chance of me having a partner around here from the locals, stock of people around here, the women, and I don't think we're mutually compatible. I don't think they find me attractive, and vice versa, it's mutual. I don't find them attractive either. So I did say in my videos yesterday, just leave it at that. And but I did have some advice for some of my new partners out there who are outside of the UK, overseas, in other words, international partners that might probably fancy me, and more likely also probably to fancy me as well. And obviously my chances are greater there on the international side of things. So I'm on the kind of international dateline, if you like, and that's obviously where day changes as well, from one day to the other. You can gain and lose a day. I'm on the international dateline with my partners anyway, so, and I'm looking for an international partner to be really serious about things. But I mentioned a few places like Brazil, South America, Florida, California in the USA, Central America, parts of the Mediterranean, Scandinavia, and even parts of Russia, etc., and Australia and New Zealand. I mentioned those sort of places where my partners could be probably located. And I do need to mention, as a precaution advice, to be wary. Obviously, if they want to come here and live here with me, some of them might want to come over here, but I don't really think it's recommended without some words of caution. And the thing I need to mention to them is they need to maintain their independence and not become like my last partner, because when they do naturalize you, what happens is they turn you into the local stock of people. Obviously, that's what they're trying to do. That's their objective when they naturalize someone from overseas and make them into the local stock of people. And if you can recall, the local stock of people ain't attracted to me anyway, and they're going to just make them like them. So if you end up like them, you're not going to probably, chances are you're not going to be sexing me. It'd be just as useless as the locals. They're almost like nuns and sisters here, bunch of zeros. So that's what I've got to warn my international views. So there's a tendency of that to happen. If they relocate over here, they'll turn you into the local stock, and the local stock ain't very good for me. Even people like Bernie Ecclestone, the billionaire, he's actually had partners from international. women. 6'1" Slavica, for instance, the Croatian model, and more recently, after his split from her, he's had Fabia from Brazil. So that's his current incumbent partner. That's just an example. And obviously also the James Bond movies. And he's always international, isn't he, on his missions. And the women that he meets, you know, the glamour women, the Bond girls, they're usually overseas, ain't they? So that's what I've got to mention anyway to my viewers out there. I mean, and even when Cary Grant says, you know, the minute he meets an attractive woman, he can't resist not pretending to, you know, make love to them. And then Eva Marie Saint, Eve Kendall, that's playing that part, says, "What makes you think that you need to conceal your thoughts?" You know, and obviously, and he says, "Is that a proposition?" Obviously, that's a good piece of advice. She likes his face, of course, but not many women are like that. You have to be in certain areas for the women to be really, you know, beckoning you, seducing you, tempting you, giving the signals, you know. And around here, like I said, the kind of nuns and zeros here. And I do remember, you know, obviously clothing signals as well. Obviously, the more clothing, the more distance you need to keep from them. If you're a bachelor, single person, obviously the less clothing, and obviously there's more room for, you know, maybe a relationship, maybe, you know, maybe they're flaunting or flirting kind of thing. But that doesn't mean necessarily, it doesn't mean always that to say, always do be wary, you know. Sometimes it can be misinterpreted, those signals. It does depend on the location where you are, of course. And obviously, if you're in Amsterdam and they're wearing bikinis or something, and they're blinking at you and asking you, coming over to you and verbally asking you, you know, to come over and whatever, then obviously, you know, that's, you know, clear instructions for, you know, maybe a sexual encounter, you know, blow the belt with them, you know. So if there's, it's obviously consensual, you see. That's the big difference. And even though he says he does, you know, shy away from that, that's Cary Grant in the movie, in that train scene clip. You know, when the moment he meets an attractive woman, there are obviously attractive women around, but what are the chances? That most likely he even says that, you know, they might find him objectionable. So he's obviously, you know, reluctant to conceal. He conceals his, you know, his desires, obviously, unless it's Maria Saint, Eva Maria Saint, playing Eve Kendall, who says, "What makes you think you need to conceal it?" Obviously, she actually said that to him because he actually opened up to her. So that sort of thing, you know. But it is about location. And like I said, I mean, I'm a kind of international guy, so for you international women out there, don't hesitate to, you know, date me. I haven't got the money like Bernie Ecclestone, but I've obviously got more height than him. So I am taller than him, quite a few inches, you know, but maybe I'll make up for that way, maybe, you know. But and I'm 55. I'm coming up to 56, by the way. So that train scene is going to be ending soon, in a week or two, when it's my birthday, and I'll be 56 this month. So that scene in the train when he's 55 won't be relevant. Also, I've got to mention his best movie is in the Charade, a 1963 movie on the European continent, and that stars Audrey Hepburn, the late Audrey Hepburn, and also Walter Matthau. Excellent performance there, and he has a range of names, obviously, in that movie, a charade. That's why it's called a charade, obviously. That's a good movie as well. But in that movie, that was made in 1963, so that would make him another 4 years from 50, 55. So that would be about 59, 58. And A Touch of Mink with Doris Day, remember that one? At the Unemployment Office, that was made in 1962, a year before the charade. And he was 58 years old in that movie. So I am looking at their age as well, because obviously I'm looking at people who are kind of my age right now in the films, that they've made. Anyway, Dr. James one on Saturday, 13th of December, 2025.